I would love to have you just talk a little bit about how you think about the experience of being stuck in life and even moments in your life where you have felt stuck.
Yeah.
And we'll just start there.
Oh, yeah. Well, the story I just told you, I felt completely and totally stuck. I mean, my advisors at Harvard, even the doctors, told me I was throwing my life away by keeping my son. And I'm very pro-choice, by the way, but he was diagnosed like a week before my 6th month. I had already really bonded to him. So I felt stuck then. And here's the thing. The release came from a surrender to what was, but then being caught by some force that is not something we really talk about in our culture. And over in my life when I've gotten stuck, when I was, the daughter of one of Mormonism's most famous defendants, and then I'm dealing with memories of sexual abuse, and the whole religion is, vested in keeping me quiet. I felt very stuck then. And when my whole family and all the friends I'd had as a child sort of wrote me off and I've never spoken to them again, I felt very stuck. But I've come to have a really delightful relationship with the feeling of being stuck. And now I even know the brain science behind it. When you have a really big need or desire and you're really feeling stuck, I call it an impasse. This is when your brain, the feeling of just bumping up against it, that is the brain saying, I'm about to give you a big leap forward. I'm about to tell you things that will blow your mind. So be stuck, get right down in the mud with it, say, I hate this, I'm miserable, and then say, screw it, and go for a walk or go for a ride in the car. Or if you can't get out of your house, watch the birds outside your window. There is a part of your brain that will actually take the impasse, the stuckness, and you will come eventually to an idea you have never imagined before. And I compare it to the caterpillar cannot imagine being a butterfly, but that is its destiny. Stuckness always means you're about to be transformed. So embrace it with both arms, enjoy it, lean in, you're going to love it.
It's so hard to do, though. And and you literally coach people through this. And I think about moments in my life where I have felt so stuck and also directionless, right? I don't know what I should be doing next.
Yep.
And so could you speak directly to the person who's listening?
Yes.
That feels that right now. Like they're not only feeling that frustration and is this all my life is going to be, in the sense that there's something else, but I don't even know how to access it.
Yep. Okay. So 2 things. You have 2 best friends that go with you everywhere. One is your body. The other is suffering. And these are your allies. And our culture really discounts both of them. We need to get a little wilder, as I say in my little online community called Wilder. And the way you get wilder is you sink into the body and you feel for suffering. So if you wouldn't mind, I don't do hypothetical work, so I want to just work it on you. So what I do with myself and what I would do with you if I were coaching you,
let's do it.
I would say, in this moment, is there anything in you that is not peaceful?
Yes.
Okay. Where in your body do you experience most of the not peace?
I feel it as like this tension in my chest, it's right between my breasts. It's almost like this plate right in here.
Oof, yeah, okay. And when you start to describe it, you're actually will be using the language of the body.
Okay.
This tells everyone in the world, no matter what language they speak, we've all felt that.
Yes.
The armoring of the heart, the flinching away. When you focus on that, what emotion comes up? And there are 4 categories:
fear,
mad, sad, glad, and scared.
Scared.
Okay. So breathe into that. So now you have your friend suffering, saying, I'm afraid. And you have your friend body saying, it doesn't need words. It's, Okay. This is helping you find your way through life. So the first thing you do is, in your phrase, let it be.
Okay.
Let the emotion be bigger.
Just let the fear, the scaredness be there.
Let it be huge. Let it fill your internal space. Let it leak over into the world. Let that plate armor in your chest really, really get as big as it wants to be.
It's like a nuclear cloud now.
Okay, fantastic.
Now it's like...
Yeah. Okay. Let it. Let it. Let it. You should write another book called Let It. What happens when you relax into it is you're no longer resisting the lesson that is coming from your, fear is another word for anxiety. So it's coming from your anxiety. It's coming from life circumstances. So now, if that were a being you loved and you asked it, first of all, say, be yourself. I have no resistance to you. Come in, sit down with me.
The suffering?
Yes. Be huge.
Be yourself. Be huge. Be scary. I have zero resistance to this.
Yeah. And then this will take too much time for the broadcast, but you say to yourself, tell me everything. Write it all down. Tell me everything you're feeling.
You know what's interesting about inviting the suffering in as a person and taking the feeling in your body and visualizing it into something bigger is the second that you said that, the kind of tension in the chest mushroomed into this like nuclear cloud,
Yeah.
which ironically made it feel smaller.
Well, look at the amount of energy you had compacted into your chest. When you let it go, there's a kind of release.
Yes.
You're not having to hold all that pain anymore. You're just letting it be.
And what ended up happening, because this is a particular fear about something going on in my financial life,
Okay.
is that the second that I kind of imagined it big and you invited it in to sit with me, it immediately started talking.
Oh, really?
Yes. And it brought me right back to 15 years ago when I was on the brink of bankruptcy.
Really?
And like, I'm afraid because I've been in a place where I've felt out over the tips of my skis.
Yeah.
I've been in a place where I've been really scared and struggling financially. And it's not at all the same situation, but it's triggering.
Yes, it is. And if we were working this in person, I would have you write down or tell me every thought that is causing suffering. Because here's the thing. There are two sources of suffering. One is clean and one is dirty. The clean suffering is like if I punched you in the head, it would hurt.
Right.
That's just clean suffering. But dirty suffering comes from our thoughts about events. So then you would think, she hates me. Why did she do that? Did I deserve it? She shouldn't have done that. So there would be this storm of thoughts. And we all have different storms. But most of our pain, most of our suffering doesn't come from events. It comes from our thoughts about events. So as your pain tells its story, you are unblending from it. And you said it's not the same situation at all. You're able to see that. That means you have a little perspective. But don't shut it down. Don't say, oh, you don't need to worry. This is different. No. Suffering is your ally. It will tell you everything you need if you let it speak. And I'm going to ask you, because you're good at this stuff, tell me one of the scariest thoughts that comes up when you let your fear speak.
That you've just spent 15 years getting yourself out of financial debt and making yourself feel safe because you've been really good about savings. And you are about to do something stupid.
Okay. I'm going to boil that down to you're about to do something stupid. And all the alarm is attached to it, right?
Yes.
Here's the deal. Here's how suffering is your friend. It always tells you the opposite of what you actually need to know. So it's very specific. It's not just, oh, let it go, it'll be fine. That thought that causes, the more suffering it causes, the more it's getting your attention, but it's backwards.
So what is the like, I can't even wrap my brain around this. I'm like, wait, so what is backwards about it's about to?
I would say, you've spent all this time getting yourself out of debt, and now you're about to do something really brilliant. Oh, feel that?
Yes.
Yeah. The opposite of the most painful thought in your head, the opposite of that thought is your next step toward awakening.
Oh my God, that's beautiful.
It always works.
Can we try that with a breakup?
Yes, please.
So I watched my daughter go through just a wildly painful heartbreak this summer.
Ouch.
And the biggest fear is that it was two. It was like, I'll never find love again.
Yeah.
Or I've made a huge mistake and I blew it. And so if we take this truth and wisdom and you invite the suffering in, and let's just take the statement that a lot of people feel,
Mm-hmm.
I'll never find love again. I'll never find somebody who loves me.
Yep.
What is the opposite of that?
So you have to really listen to the suffering till the point where you're sick of it. Because before that, you're going to cling to this thought. It's part of your ego trying to defend itself. But as we know, trying to cling to things to defend yourself is the way into misery. So I'll never find love again. It will sound radical, but the opposite would be, I will always find love again. Now, if you sit with that and start to look for ways it could be true, oh, I will always find love. I love that tree outside the window. I love my cat. I love my mother. There's just love everywhere. When you say, I'll always find love, I'll find it everywhere, everything starts to love you back. Try this. Go into a coffee shop or someplace you like to go to, like have lunch. Go in thinking your most painful thought. I'll never find love again. I'll never find love again. And watch how people react to you. Okay. The next day, go in again. But this time you have to repeat the opposite. I'll always find love everywhere. I'll always find love everywhere. And watch how people react to you. They will open doors for you. They will give you free stuff. They will smile. I'm telling you, people talk about me being woo-woo. It's just what happens. Go test it.
Well, I also think there's a lot of science to this.
There is, yeah.
Because aren't you training your mind to show you what you're looking for? Like aren't you
that.
more open
Absolutely.
to it? Is that also, because I believe in both the magic and the spiritual
Me too.
and the woo-woo. And you can explain it, and you do in your work over and over again about how this is also a tactic to reprogram your spirit and your brain to be open to this.
Yeah. Selective attention. You've probably seen that experiment where they have 6 people bouncing a basketball, and you tell someone watching the film, count the times they bounce the ball. In the middle of the film, a person in a gorilla suit comes in and does a little dance and then leaves. And people watching that film don't see the gorilla because they're busy watching the times the ball bounces. And the gorilla is not subtle. It is right in the middle of the frame. It's big. We don't see what we don't pay attention to. So if you are constantly saying, I'm not going to find love, I'm not going to find love, the only things you'll see will be things that make you jealous and hurt and sad. And if you walk around thinking, I'm going to see love everywhere, always, it happens. The other thing is mirror neurons. Other people's brains, if you took a sip of water, my brain would actually have the same activity in it as if I had taken a sip of water. Our brains are constantly moving to reflect one another. So when you walk around going, there's love everywhere, a person meets your eyes and suddenly sees love everywhere. You're giving them a different brain by going around thinking, I'll always find love.
Everything that comes out of your mouth is like, oh my God. I felt my chest collapse, like almost like falling backwards, like a trust fall when you said you're about to make the most brilliant decision.
Yeah.
And I think you're right.
Look how aware you are. Look how experienced you are. Of course you're going to make a brilliant decision.
But what I love about this conversation is that when you see somebody that you care about who's stuck or going through heartbreak or who is afraid because they're taking a risk, when we see that person from the outside, we credit them and give them the benefit of all the things we know to be true, which is, yes, this is breaking your heart in a million pieces, and there's love all around you, and there is love in your life, and you will absolutely find love again.
Yeah. Stuckness always means you're about to be transformed. Tell me one of the scariest thoughts that comes up when you let your fear speak.
You are about to do something stupid.
The opposite of the most painful thought in your head is your next step toward awakening. I would say you're about to do something really brilliant. Oh, feel that?
Yes.